Let's take a trip to Titan. So you may be wondering what Titan is. Titan is a moon of Saturn. Titan is approximately 1.2 million kilometers from Saturn. This is 3 times farther than our moon is from Earth. And how far is it from Earth, you might be wondering? Well, Titan is 9.54 astronomical units away from Earth. So an astronomical unit is a unit of measurement equal to 149.6 million kilometers, which is the mean distance from the center of Earth to the center of the Sun. So now let's talk about some key features on Titan. The first thing we're going to talk about is Titan's size. Titan is the largest of Saturn's moons and is the second largest moon in our solar system. It is 5,150 kilometers in diameter, which is approximately half the size of Earth. Titan is actually so big that it is larger than the planet Mercury. Also, if Titan was not orbiting Saturn and was actually orbiting the Sun, it would be considered a planet of its own. Next, we'll focus on Titan's rare atmosphere. Rare because Titan is the only moon within our solar system that actually has an atmosphere. Titan's atmosphere extends approximately 600 kilometers out into space. Titan's atmosphere is made up of approximately 95% nitrogen and 5% methane. And there are also small trace amounts of oxygen and single carbon atoms and single hydrogen atoms. Titan's atmosphere is also extremely thick. The reasons for this are unknown, but due to its thickness, it is impossible for us to view the moon from outside of the atmosphere. Now we'll move on to the surface of Titan, focusing on its hydrocarbon seas, lakes, and rivers. The liquid on Titan's surface is in the form of methane, which is the same thing that comes out of a cow here on Earth. Some of these methane seas are so large that they generate their own weather. Recently, scientists at NASA have discovered a feature in Titan's largest sea, please excuse my pronunciation, Ligeia Mare, and what they've noticed is in over 3 years, they've noticed a change in the images that have come back from Cassini, the Cassini spacecraft. So they've theorized that these changes must be evidence of waves within the seas on Titan. In total, NASA has discovered 32 bodies of methane on Titan. 29 of them congregate around Titan's north pole, and 3 of them are large enough to actually be called seas. Moving on, although the liquid on the surface of Titan is methane, there is still a liquid water within the planet. This water is underneath a thick layer of ice crust, and it is approximately 5 to 425 kilometers deep. Now, this layer has scientists believing that there could be life within it. There are many different theories that different carbon-based life forms could live within this layer that are accustomed to very cold temperatures. So now let's talk about some comparisons to Earth. First, we'll talk about their formation. Both Earth and Titan are approximately 4.5 billion years old. And both planet and moon were formed in the same way. After the sun was formed, there were many leftover materials of gas and dust. Eventually, these particles clumped together to form our Earth, as well as all of the other planets in our solar system. At this time, Titan was also formed. Only instead of forming around the sun, it formed around the planet Saturn. This is why we call Titan a moon and not a planet. Studies have shown that Titan's crust is separated into tectonic plates just like Earth. These plates sit on the liquid water subsurface that I discussed earlier. Because the tectonic plates sit on the liquid, they move and collide or separate, causing the formation of the features we see here on Earth. So now that we understand Titan a little bit better, let's move on to some of the challenges associated with traveling there. Now, on the surface of Titan, it is approximately 100 182 degrees Celsius, and that's in the negative. So that's really, really cold. With temperatures this cold, exposed human skin would freeze on contact. On top of the cold temperatures, we would also have to worry about breathing. Now, of course, being humans, we need to breathe air, which consists of oxygen. And with Titan having minuscule amounts of oxygen within its atmosphere, we would not be able to breathe without some sort of apparatus. Once we landed on Titan's surface, we would need heated spacesuits to protect us from the negative 182 degrees Celsius temperature. To solve the no oxygen issue associated with the spacesuits, we would also need oxygen tanks that attach to our spacesuits to allow us with a short-term oxygen supply. We would also need heated shelters that we could sleep, eat, and spend time in when we were not exploring. To solve the no oxygen issue within these heated shelters, we could use systems like what is on NASA's 2020 rover. This system is being built for the Mars mission and will use electrolysis to extract oxygen from Mars's atmosphere. A similar system that could extract the minuscule particles of oxygen from Titan's atmosphere would allow us to breathe within our shelters and provide us with a long-term supply of oxygen. So why go to Titan? Well, personally, I think that Titan is a beautiful and intriguing moon. I think that going to this moon would not only allow us to explore in a way that no other spacecraft or space probe ever could, but we could also bring back samples that could be examined and hopefully allow us to discover much, much more about the moon than we ever could from a distance.